Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you to this online lesson. We are looking at the anatomy of. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you to this online lesson. We are looking at the anatomy of the rat or the mammal, and this lesson is particularly good for A-level biology students, and this is a practical. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you to this online lesson. We are looking at the anatomy of the rat or the mammal, and this lesson is particularly good for A-level biology students, and this is a practical or paper 3. So I want you to pay focus to the structures that we are going to look at. Look at the spellings of the structures, the descriptions, and then their functions. We shall look at, to start with, the external anatomy of the rat, and then later on we shall go to the internal anatomy, where we shall look at other structures which are found inside the body. But for now, welcome to the external anatomy of the rat. And before we go into the structures, allow me to take you through some of the key terms that we always use during dissection. These terms are often used even during examination, and learners ought to know them so that you are not caught off guard. So one of the terms is anterior. This term you must have come across it even from your O level. Anterior simply means towards the head. Yeah, if something is anteriorly located, it means it's located at an area towards the head. And then we have posterior. Posterior means towards the tail or towards the the behind part of the body. That is posterior. So if a structure is posterior to another, it means it's located towards the tail, relative to the other parts. Then we have dorsal. Dorsal simply means towards the backbone or towards the back. That one is the dorsal part of the body, the part of the body which is located towards the vertebral column or the backbone. And then we have the ventral. The ventral is just the opposite of the dorsal. That one simply means towards the belly, the underside of the body. That is ventral. So you can easily use words like ventrally located or dorsally. Then we have lateral. Lateral means towards the sides. So that is lateral, the lateral location towards the sides of the body. Then medial, from the word middle, it simply means towards the midline. That is medial. Then we have proximal. Yes, proximal means lying near the point of reference. So if we say a structure is proximal to the head, it means it is closer to the head, which is the point of reference in that case. If it is proximal to the chest, it simply means that structure is lying closer or towards the chest. So proximal means near the point of reference. And then we have distal. Distal is the opposite of proximal. Simply means lying further away from the point of reference. Yeah, distal, far or distant from that particular point. So members, those are not all the terms that we use, but those are some of them. I would want to challenge you to look for other suitable terms that we use in dissection and in practicals in general, and familiarize yourself with them because you're going to meet them quite more often in your notes, but also in your examinations. They will always use those terms to refer to what the examiner is interested in. So I hope that these terms you find these terms more easier to understand and easier to apply. Yeah, thank you very much. Allow me go through that structure there. As you can see, some of the terminologies that we have used have been put in action there, have been applied. As you can see, dorsal towards the back, that's what we said, or towards the backbone. Then we have anterior towards the head. Then we have ventral, which is towards the underside of the body, the belly side. Then we have posterior, which we said towards the tail. Lateral on the sides, medial towards the midline, and so on and so forth. So thank you so much, and I hope that you are able to use. So when you are given a specimen, when you are given your specimen, the rat in this case, you should be able to locate the different parts of the rat using the terms that we have used. You should now be comfortable with using those terms. So let's start with the classification of the rat. So every living organism, of course, can be classified into the different taxa that we use in the classification, thanks to Carolus Linnaeus and other scientists who developed the binomial nomenclature, but also contributed to taxonomy. So we are having 7 major taxa that we use in classification, and we have kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. You remember in our senior one, they told you the way of cramming them. You would say that King Pharaoh could order for good soup. I don't know what your teacher told you. That is how they used to cram in senior one. King Pharaoh could order for good soup, and then you got the 7 taxa, just like that. So by senior 5 now, senior 6, you should be much in a better position to understand them other than just cramming. So when you look at our specimen for now, the rat, you realize that it belongs to kingdom Animalia. So what does that mean? Rats are animals. Phylum Chordata, so they are chordates. And then class Mammalia. We actually belong to the same class with the rats. They are also mammals. Order Rodentia. Family, meaning they are rodents. Rodentia meaning they are rodents, with squirrels and other members. Then we have family Muridae, genus Rattus or Rattus. And then we have species, if it is the white rat, which is usually used at school, or we call it the laboratory animal, the white rat or the albino rat. Its species is Rattus norvegicus, or you can say Rattus or Rattus norvegicus. So that one is the white rat. Then the black rat or the gray rat is Rattus rattus. So all the two have quite similar characteristics. So whichever you can choose to use, it will give you more of the same. However, it's advisable to use the white rat, the one which is reared at school. If you don't have it, please, you can rear it. You can talk to your biology teacher and rear these rats in your school so that you can use them for study purpose. The white ones are always safer and easily monitored and may not get exposed to some contagious diseases like plague that can easily attack the wild ones. So if you are using, advisable to use the white one. Okay, I now know that you can easily classify your rat very well from kingdom to species. If you can do that, that's great. So let's move to the structures. There you can see your rat looks more like that. It has those parts that you are able to see, and we are going to look at those parts much more in detail shortly. But for now, after classifying this rat, we must give reasons why we have chosen the different taxa for this organism. For example, we said it belongs to phylum Chordata. Yeah, these members of phylum Chordata have some specific characteristics that make them chordates, and they include the following. The first one is all the chordates have what we call the postanal tail, the tail that proceeds beyond the anus, postanal tail. Some organisms, of course, in chordata may have a tail which is shorter, or may just have what we call the caudal bones, or the caudal vertebra. Even man has the caudal vertebra. There are few. That's why you cannot see your tail protruding out. It's because the number of the caudal vertebrae are relatively fewer. But in the other chordates, like the rats, there are very many, and you can easily see the caudal vertebrae forming the tail. Then they all have what we call the pentadactyl limb from more than one part of the body. So usually these chordates have a limb which terminates into 5 digits, a limb that terminates into 5 digits that you can call fingers or toes. So, and these limbs terminate from different parts of the body, from the fore and the hind part. So, and all the chordates are like that. So that is one of the characteristics of chordates, having the pentadactyl limb from more than one part of the body. Then they also have the spinal cord, but this one is seen after you have dissected it. You cannot see the spinal cord externally before you'd cut, but it is part of the internal characteristics that chordates possess. Then we have presence of the vertebral column, which you can feel from the back. You can use your finger and touch it. You can even feel and compare it with yours and see whether the location, the position, and the feeling is the same. So you can touch them and see how the arrangement of the bones are. I want to caution you that if you are told to look at the organism externally and give reasons why it belongs to phylum Chordata, you only give the structures or the reasons that you can see externally. So in this case, you eliminate the spinal cord because you cannot see it externally. However, if you have been told to cut it, to dissect, to expose it, then definitely it becomes part of your description. So do not give the examiner what they have not asked. Yeah, thank you so much. I hope you can now give reasons why an organism belongs to phylum Chordata, not just the rat, but all the members of phylum Chordata. So we have looked at the postanal tail. I hope you can see now the exact location of the postanal tail. That's how it looks in the rat. If you go to school, you see the teacher will be able to show you exactly, but I know you also know. So what you are seeing there is the postanal tail. That word is tail. And then it has the pentadactyl limb from more than one part of the body. A limb that terminates into 5 digits, as you can count from there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However, in some vertebrates, in some chordates, even rats, you may find that some toes or fingers are modified to something else, or they are either reduced or modified. So you may find in some cases there are 4, depending on the animal. However, the evolutionary plan was they are supposed to have 5, but as a result of modification and evolution or environmental changes or adaptation to live in different habitats, you may find that some may have reduced toes or fingers, but it does not exclude them from the phylum Chordata, because their plan is they should have 5. Yes. So if you see some organisms that are chordates with 4 digits, you observe critically, you may realize one of them is reduced or modified to perform another function. Okay. Another reason for phylum Chordata is that the presence of the vertebral column, and this one you can feel it from the back. Yeah, and then for the spinal cord particularly, you can only see that one after you have dissected. So you can see that infrared image, you can see from there. Where it exposes where the vertebral column is and how it looks like, and that is exactly where it is located in the rats. So let's look at its class. We said it belongs to class Mammalia. So if it is class Mammalia, there are reasons why we should call them mammals. One of them is that the body is covered with fur or hairs. So the whole body is covered with the hairs, either black. What differentiates them is the color of the hair, but the hair is universal for all the mammals. And then the other one is external earlobes. So all the mammals have external ear lobes, including the rats. Even ourselves, we have this external earlobe called the pinna. Yeah, this pinna are used for collecting sound waves. Also, mammals have external genitalia. Yes, and possession of the scrotal sac in males and the vaginal opening in females is predominant for the mammals. Yeah, so you can easily see the scrotal sac or the vaginal opening, the vulva for the females. And then we have the separate anal and genital openings. In some classes, like the amphibia, they have only one opening, that is the cloaca, which is used for both genital but also anal functions. But for the case of mammals, they have separate openings. The genital pore, and then there is also the anal pore, and those serve, of course, different purposes. So that's another unique characteristic of mammals. Then they have nipples leading from the mammary glands, especially for the females. Yeah, the females have nipples. That member there is belong to a species of Rattus norvegicus, the white rat. The black rat would have black hair there. Then we have external earlobes, as you can see there, well adapted to collect sound waves. They are like funnels for collecting sound waves. Yes, those external earlobes are called the pinnae. The plural is pinnae, singular pinna. Then they also have external genitalia, that is a possession of the scrotal sac for the female. The first picture there shows you the male, the scrotal sac in the male, and then the vaginal opening there for the female. Yes, that is their location and also structure. That is only predominant for mammals. The shapes, the sizes may vary depending on the type of the mammal or the species, but all of them share that universal characteristic of possessing external genitalia. That's great. They also have separate anal and genital openings or pores, as you can see. You can see there, you can look at them. The urethral orifice, as you can see, or the vaginal opening for the female. Then the anus for both of them, male and female. Okay. Then we have nipples from the mammary glands for females. So the mammary glands you can easily feel from the abdominal area, the ventral side of the body. You will be able to see some structures there that we are going to call the nipples. I expect you to be able to identify the nipples. Yes, and even to count them. Yeah, that is where the young ones get their food from. They breastfeed. They suck the nipples. So let's look at the order. Which order did we say these organisms belong to? Order Rodentia. Therefore, they are rodents. So what makes them rodents, or what characteristic do they share as rodents? One of them is presence of the vibrissae or the whiskers, these things on the side. Those long hair-like structures, as we shall see. They are either called vibrissae or whiskers. And then they also possess chisel-shaped teeth. These are partially the incisor teeth, which are chisel-shaped, with the two inner incisors on the upper jaw. So those are the characteristics of the rodents, or the distinguishing characteristics. So you can see the whiskers there, or the vibrissae. You must have seen this. It's not only the rats that have them, but all the rodents have them. However, also other cat family members have, but this characteristic is majorly adopted for majorly a characteristic of order Rodentia. So for you to belong to order Rodentia, you must have that feature of the teeth and also the whiskers at the same time. And then we have possession of the chisel-shaped teeth, as you can see there, with the two inner incisors on the upper jaw, as you can see, very sharp there and very nice teeth. So let's look at order or family Muridae or Muridae. One is possession of a head with a pointed snout. So the head is always pointed, and we shall see why that is pointed, why the head is pointed. Then possession of naked soles. And you look at their palms or soles under the feet, you find that they don't have hair, they are naked. Then possession of a scaly tail with very fine, scanty and short hair. So the tail has scales that overlap each other and with very scanty hair. We shall probably see why the tail looks like that. So you can see from there reasons for family Muridae. The head, which is pointed with a snout, as you can see, it can even penetrate through surfaces that are soft, and can easily, that enables it to dig burrows in the soil. Yeah. Then possession of naked soles, as you can see there. So the lower part of the feet does not have hair, and that part is the sole. They are naked. Then scaly tail with very fine, scanty and short hairs, as you can see. The tail has scales that they are like rings and overlapping each other with relatively fewer hair compared to the rest of the body. And then reasons for the species, if it is a Rattus norvegicus, the white rat, or the albino rat, we say that, yes, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you to this online lesson. We are looking at the anatomy of the rat, or the mammal. And this lesson is particularly good for A-level biology students, and this is a practical, or paper 3. So I want you to pay focus to the structures that we are going to look at. Look at the spellings of the structures, the descriptions, and then their functions. We shall look at, to start with, the external anatomy of the rat, and then later on we shall go to the internal anatomy, where we shall look at other structures which are found inside the body. But for now, welcome to the external anatomy of the rat. And before we go into